In a time of deep corruption, when the streets of Jerusalem were filled with greed and sin, the people had turned their backs on God. They mocked the prophets and walked a path leading straight to destruction. Yet, amidst this chaos, one man dared to obey. Lehi was a righteous man, living in Jerusalem with his wife Sariah and their 4 sons, Laman, Lemuel, Sam and Nephi. One night, God spoke to him in a powerful vision. He witnessed the terrible destruction that awaited the city if its people refused to repent. He saw his nation's pride, their corruption, and the looming threat of the Babylonian invasion. God gave him a clear command: leave Jerusalem immediately and take your family into the wilderness. The vision was a stark warning, a divine call to escape the impending doom. Without a moment's hesitation, Lehi obeyed. He gathered his family, leaving behind their home, their wealth, and the only city they had ever known. Can you imagine the fear? The profound uncertainty and anxiety of abandoning everything familiar? But Lehi's trust in God's guidance was absolute. Together, they stepped into the vast, unforgiving desert, completely unsure of what lay ahead, their faces set toward an unknown future. Soon after their departure, Lehi experienced another profound vision, a vision of the tree of life. He saw a magnificent tree, radiant and white, bearing fruit that was sweeter and more desirable than anything imaginable. In the vision, he saw his family struggling along a path to reach it. Some were faithful and pressed forward, while others hesitated, lost in the mists of darkness. This vision was a powerful symbol of God's love and the blessings that come from obedience, but it also highlighted the dangers of pride and disobedience. Lehi's heart ached for his sons, especially Laman and Lemuel, who so often murmured and doubted God's plan. But God's guidance didn't end with the vision. He revealed to Lehi that his family must obtain the brass plates from a powerful man named Laban back in Jerusalem. These were ancient records containing their genealogy, the commandments of God, and the sacred prophecies of the holy prophets. These plates were absolutely crucial. Without them, they could not preserve God's law or teach it to their future generations. Their spiritual heritage depended on it. So Lehi sent his sons back to the dangers of Jerusalem. While Laman and Lemuel were filled with fear and doubt, Nephi's faith grew stronger with every step. When they confronted Laban, the formidable keeper of the plates, he refused to give them up, and the situation quickly turned deadly. It was then that the Spirit commanded Nephi to act. In one of the most dramatic moments in the entire book of 1 Nephi, Nephi was led to slay Laban, not out of anger or revenge, but in perfect obedience to God's will. It was the only way the sacred records could be secured for future generations. With immense courage and unwavering faith, Nephi retrieved the plates, and the sons returned safely to their family in the wilderness. Their knowledge, their heritage, and their sacred connection to God's commandments were now preserved, ensuring their legacy would endure. But the journey was far from easy. The wilderness was a harsh and unforgiving place. Food was scarce, and tensions within the family often ran high. Laman and Lemuel constantly murmured against their father, against God, and especially against their faithful brother Nephi. Yet, through it all, Lehi's unwavering trust in the Lord kept the family moving forward. They faced trials, but they also received visions and angelic guidance. They pressed on, learning hard-won lessons about faith, obedience, and the strength found in unity. Lehi was more than just a guide for their physical journey. He was a true prophet of the Lord. He received powerful visions about the future coming of the Messiah, the scattering and eventual gathering of the house of Israel, and the blessings and trials his own descendants would face. He warned his sons that pride and rebellion would lead them to spiritual destruction, while faith and humility would bring them eternal joy and peace. The climax of 1 Nephi isn't a single, explosive battle or a moment of grand action. It's the quiet, profound triumph of obedience and faith over doubt and fear. It's seen in Nephi's unflinching courage, in Laman and Lemuel's gradual learning process, and in Lehi's steady, unwavering leadership. Together, their story shows the incredible power of following God, even when the path leads into the great unknown. Lehi's story teaches a timeless lesson. Faith often requires us to leave our comfort zones, to face our deepest fears, and to make incredibly difficult choices. It reminds us that God's guidance is real and that courage, obedience, and trust can preserve not just our own lives, but the legacy of generations to come. The question his story leaves for us is this: Would you have the faith to follow, even when the path ahead is uncertain? Subscribe to our channel to uncover more incredible stories of faith and courage.